we're back. I don't know what this is going to be because I started recording and I stopped and I started and I stopped and I started and I stopped. So we're just going to say that this is a rant slash slight review. I might jump all over the place. I might jump back to my notes. I might jump back because I was all over the place during this. Let's start off by saying that I hope this is the last time that we see Kody. I don't want to see him anymore. I hope this is his last season. We start off the show with Truly going over to Kody and Robin's house. And Kody says that it's been a month since Christine has left. Truly arrives. He asks Truly if she has pajamas. Truly says no. He says why. She says she wasn't sure if she's going to stay or not. He says, well, if you stay, we can give you a big shirt. You want 50-50 custody of your child, but you do not have a shirt for her well, let me not even say a shirt. You don't have clothing items. You don't have clothes for her. You don't have pajama for her. Do you have a toothbrush? Do you have things for her to make her feel like that isn't just Robin's home? We see Christine, and Christine basically says that Truly has to learn how to be comfortable around Kody because she's not accustomed to being around him. And it's very evident. It's like, part of me feels like it might be because of the cameras, but then I see how she reacts to the cameras when she's in confessionals. We see how she reacts to the cameras when she's around Christine, and it's truly her relationship with Kody. It can't be anything else, because if it was something else like the cameras, then she would act that way all the time. She seems to only act intimidated, hesitant, a little unsure of herself when she's around her dad. It's just something that I've noticed. We then see Janelle and Cody meet for lunch. And in this lunch, they talked about Cody's favorite thing, Robin. So Janelle says that the summer's been really rocky, that they've been arguing a lot about the boys and the RV. She wants to be in a better place. Kody feels like he wants to be in a better place. I'm using air quotes because I don't feel like Kody wants to be in a better place. I feel like Kody wants Janelle to... I feel like he wants her to leave, but at the same time, he wants her money, so he doesn't want her to leave. He wants to punish her the way he did Christine. That's what we'll say. We'll say that he wants to punish her the way that he did Christine. Because the way that he was talking to her and the things that he was bringing up, it just made me feel like, okay, you want her to leave, but we know you don't want her to leave because you already said, like, you don't like failing at this marriage thing. They get to talking about the holidays, and Janelle wants to know what they want to do for the holidays. Do they want everybody to gather together at Robin's house? And Kody admits that's not what he wants. Because Janelle says Maddie and her husband are thinking about coming out here for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, and he said, well, we got to talk about that because we need to get things right with your kids first. Gabe and Garrison need to apologize to myself and Robin, and the only way that they'll be able to come over here is if they don't hold any animosity towards us. He then says that the kids basically have been jealous for a long time since Robin came into the family, because when the kids found out about him courting Robin, he started spending more time with Robin. And my thing is, you spent more time with Robin and you spent more time with your kids, with her kids, which is fine. But the problem is that you didn't continue to make time for your own. You didn't continue to make quality time for your children, and you spent more time, and you admitted it in past seasons, that you spent more time with her kids because you were trying to get to know them. So of course they feel away. How do you sound? Y'all went to all these therapy sessions with Nancy and you didn't think to make sure that you worked on the relationship with your kids? You didn't have your kids join you in therapy so you can discuss this? This is crazy to me. Janelle says that she doesn't even want to go down that road, and to avoid all of it, that she's just gonna go ahead and go to Maddie's for Thanksgiving, and then hopefully they could all come together for Christmas. Kody keeps talking to Janelle about Robin, and to the point where he's defending Robin. So Janelle asks a very good question. She said, "Would you act this way if it were me?" And rather than Kody saying yes, because he knows the answer isn't yes, he says, "Janelle, we haven't been and acted like we were in a marriage for a long time." Excuse me, sir, that's not what she asked you. Janelle goes on to say how she feels like Kody is her best friend, and she knows they're having a little bit of problems now, and that certain things like the RV are hot spots for her, and Kody hot buttons for him, and Kody goes on a rant. Kody keeps talking about loyalty, and Kody basically is saying that Janelle hasn't been loyal to him. And what this comes down to is Janelle, she didn't take sides, but she took sides in Kody's eyes. He says the dogs are a hot button. Her not being loyal to him is a hot button. The dogs being in his bed are a hot button. He's not close to Janelle. Janelle says that the dogs just recently started sleeping in the bed because he complained about that prior to. So to avoid it, she would allow them to sleep like on the side of the bed. Kody supposedly was never a big dog animal, but Kody goes back and forth on it because he was never a big dog animal, but he was out there with Mary, took the dog all the way to the property in Lehigh and buried the dog, and was out there with her and Mariah, now Leo. I think Leon. I don't want to. They were out there with their child, and while they were out there with their child, they were very emotional. So how do you not care for dog? Okay, anyways. He holds grudges is what I wrote. He said he wants to tell Janelle that he's heartbroken, but he wonders, are you strong enough to help me heal? It's obvious that Janelle is strong. You said yourself that she's an independent woman, that she moves like a single woman, that she doesn't consult you, that she does things without you. Can someone who's not strong do that? I believe not. He said that going to see his children, well, their children, because it's there when he's trying to make a point, without him is a problem for the holidays. Not following his protocols during COVID is a problem. He said that he wanted to know from Janelle why it's easier for Janelle to have a relationship with Christine than it is to have with Robin. Notice, Mary, you weren't included in that question. Kody has 2 wives for now. Mary, you aren't one of them. He didn't ask anything about you. He just asked about Robin. And she basically said, I've known Christine for a long time. We were forced to be together. She helped raise my kids. I'm closer to her. But I say that this is a trick question, because no way that she answered that question would have appeased him. And she knew it. Janelle was smart enough to know not to even go down that road, because if she really truly tells Kody how she feels about Robin, then it's gonna be even bigger problem for her. He gets mad and says that Christine is out of the storm, the poop storm that she created. And I was glad that Janelle said Christine didn't create the storm, we all did. Because you all did. More so, Kody and Mary, you did. Because in your book, Kody and Mary had the little secret about Robin, and Janelle and Christine were the last to find out. And before, it was said that you would all have to agree. They never really all agreed with you having a fourth wife. So you all did create this storm. He said Christine got out and got a divorce from him, but he didn't want to quit. He's not a coward. So I said in parentheses on my notes, you're right. You didn't want to quit. You're a crappy husband that withheld intimacy and treated her like she was nothing. I remember watching an old episode, and I can't remember what they were doing. They were outdoors building something. This was in Vegas. And in front of Robin, he called her a big baby. But not the way you would say, like, oh, you big baby. He was demeaning her when he said it. Go ahead and cry like a big baby. And she walked off crying. But you wonder why. You wonder why things are the way they are. Janelle says she gets really mad at Kody, but Janelle don't never snap. I wish I had Janelle's level of calm. She said that she feels like Kody's her best friend that she wants to tell everything to, but Kody doesn't listen to you. How is that your best friend? You then went and said that Kody complains about the RV, but when you were looking for rentals, he was missing in action. He expected you to find a place, then show it to him, then say yes. But when it came to Robin finding a house, he was helping her. Why doesn't he assist the other wives the way that he does Robin? I'm just going to leave that right there. Yeah, back to Kody. Um, I gotta pause. Just read something that made me. I said, Kody does not care about Christine. He cares about the image of what he's gonna look like now that she divorced him. Because at the end of the day, they presented themselves as this polygamous family that love one another, and the wool has been removed. The dirt is not being covered up anymore by the rug. We're seeing it. We then go into Robin coughing and finding out that Brianna brought COVID home to the house and got everybody, with the exception of Ariella, sick. No, not Ariella. Sorry, that's the youngest. Aurora sick. Um, Kody says after 20 months of avoiding COVID, they got it. The only place that I saw you really try to avoid getting COVID from was your family. You didn't want to go to Janelle's house, even though she told you to leave, once she told you, okay, you can start coming back around. You didn't want to go to Janelle's house because you didn't want to get COVID, because you didn't want to bring it to Robin. But you didn't have a problem going to a wedding without a mask, dancing around with complete strangers, all in their faces, riding around in a vehicle with your business partner without a mask, going out in social settings without a mask, because you have been pictured in places during the height of pandemic, shopping at Victoria's Secret and wherever else without mask on. You can't tell me that your daughter wore a mask the entire time and nothing happened. Um Unfortunately, when the kids went back to school, a lot of them got sick. I have a son, and I talked with him over and over again about being safe and not getting it, because he has he has a lot of allergies. He had breathing issues when he was young. He's since grown out of some things, but he still has really bad allergies, and he's allergic to things that are year round. So we had a long talk about the things that were going to be okay and not okay as far as school was concerned. And you can pray over your kids, and you could put good vibes out if you're a non-believer. You can take precautions, but unfortunately, there's truly no way to protect them from it. Um, Thank God I haven't had it. He hasn't had it, but I have a lot of friends and family that have, some of whom died. So I can't begin to tell you how insulted I was by some of the dramatics that I witnessed from Kody and Robin. I am not saying that at some point they did not feel like they were going to die, because I've heard the stories, I've witnessed what the pandemic has done. I lost some really, really close people to me. People that I was on the phone with a day before they passed. I was trying to do this. Um, and I'll tell you this, when it when it's that bad where your oxygen levels are affected, they can't talk. They can't formulate certain sentences. They can't have certain discussions. You took Robin to the emergency room and everything looked great. She had symptoms of COVID in her lungs. With the video that we were shown, at no point did I see an oxygen mask on Robin. I'm sure that they gave her IV and other fluids and antibiotics and things of that nature, but there is no cure. There is no fix for COVID. So to then hear, even though Kody thought that when he took her to the emergency room that Robin was about to die, that she was released the same day, it it kind of bothered me, if I'm being honest. I'm glad that everybody's okay and that nothing happened. I do think it's ironic that uh this happened. I do think that even though Janelle's symptoms weren't as bad, it doesn't seem like Janelle was as cared for. I do believe that Kody got it after Robin, because unlike the rest of them, well, no, like the rest of them, He was in Robin's face. He was probably in his daughter's face. You didn't see him with the mask when he first started talking about them having it. You didn't see that he quarantined. They only said that Aurora quarantined. They then proceeded to talk about how at one point Aurora came in the room with her mask on after not seeing them for 10 days and they were crying. What about your other kids? You were crying because you didn't see Aurora for 10 days when we know that you hadn't seen Truly for a month. When we know that you haven't seen your other children for months. When we know that Gabriel basically said that Gabe, let me talk about Gabe. When Gabe was talking, I already knew exactly what he was going to say. Gabe said that his father called him during the pandemic. And Kody said that he called him because he wanted to know, like he wanted to get all the information that he could get because earlier Janelle and them had it at one point. So he called Gabe because Gabe was supposed to give him some advice on things to do and all that other stuff. Even though they got the doctor on the phone, you called Gabe for that. And it just so happens to be that Gabe knows the exact date that you called him because the day that you called him was on his birthday. And Gabe said, I purposely did not remind my dad that it was my birthday because I wanted to see that he remembered. So he said that we talked about the pandemic stuff. We had a conversation. We got off the phone and he didn't remember. Gabe broke down. Gabe was boo-hooing because his father forgot his birthday. Kody, as much as you have that phone in your hand, how hard is it for you to write down all of your kids' birth dates and get an alert on your phone? I'm sure Janelle probably reminded him that it was his birthday because she probably said, have you talked to your dad today? And he said, yeah. Did he tell you happy birthday? And he said no. And she probably texted him and said, you know, it's Gabe's birthday today. And then several hours later he called to tell him happy birthday, and he said, I have not talked to him since that day. Kody is turning on Janelle next, and we're going to see that some more next week. I guess the hard thing for me to understand is how it got to this point. How did it get to being this bad after all this time? Because Kody was so sick, he said he eventually got sicker than Robin, but he didn't take himself to the hospital. He said that he got to the point where he was feeling depressed. He feels rejected by Janelle because she's not acknowledging his pain in the divorce. And now he's feeling grief. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. And he continues to blame COVID for his divorce. They show the kids trick-or-treating, and he says he doesn't think that they'll ever have like big family gatherings again. Kody, you're despicable. You've caused this. You fell in love with Robin, as I said in previous videos, and it was something that you've never experienced before. And I feel like at that point, you no longer wanted to be in a polygamous lifestyle. It looks good, but that's not what you wanted. You showed it in your actions. I can't wait to see what happens next week. I'm looking forward to seeing Janelle come to her senses, and I hope that she calls them out in person and not just in confessional. Because they get away with a lot of stuff that's not called out until confessional. And the way that I move, it wouldn't go down like that. It just wouldn't. This episode, I could have did without all the COVID stuff and all the dramatic music and all of that, because I felt like a lot of it wasn't I'm trying not to act like these people didn't have COVID. I just didn't have any sympathy for any of them but the kids. I didn't care about Robin and Kody having it, because Christine made a statement that, they've been really, really careful, so it's just ironic that they got it. No, they have not. They wanted y'all to think that. They weren't wiping down all the other stuff. Do you see the way the backyard looks when they show the backyard? You got all that house. Kody is not wiping down all those things that he brought from all those different houses. You can't tell me he is. They aren't being that careful. It's an illusion. And I'm done. And I'm sorry this was all over the place. Hopefully next week will be better. Sorry about getting emotional. I just really, really, really was triggered during this episode. For all those of you out there who lost someone, or let's be real, it's done a number on different people. I know someone that they said has permanent lung damage from being sick. She was out of work for 2 months. She came back and she was my size and lost 80 pounds. All because of COVID. So, to all of the people who have been affected, I'm sorry. I'm sending good energy your way. I can't wait for the day that we don't have to worry as much about this. Until next time.